Hello, and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers at ebayscavengers.com. This is episode number 85. Now, about 6 months ago, we interviewed a new eBay seller named Adam, who runs an eBay store called Mysterious Caravan. He's a frequent commenter on the blog as well, so some of you may recognize his name. But we thought we would check back in with Adam. We spoke to him about 6 months ago, and he only had, I think, less than 100 items in his store. Now he's up to about 500 items. Him and his wife, Emma, have full-time jobs and a 9-month-old baby, so they are juggling a lot. But they've been able to keep up with their eBay store, and they're really successful. So let's check back in with Adam from Mysterious Caravan.
Adam, thank you for joining us today. I think you were probably one of the first people that kind of found our blog and started commenting on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And then we interviewed you just as you were starting because you had a lot of questions, and your goal is to go full-time. Is that right?
Yeah, basically, my wife and I started the store together. I've kind of been running it full-time myself so far, but our goal is to get the store up to a point where we're making enough profit for her to quit her job first.
Gotcha.
And then she'll take on a lot more of the eBay responsibilities at that time.
And just so people know a little more of your background, if I can say, you have a wife and you have a newborn baby, and both of you work. Not the baby, but the husband and wife work.
Yeah, both my wife and I work full-time. She works about a 50-hour work week, and I work 40-hour. Yeah, we're pretty busy.
Okay, so let's get kind of an update on your store. I guess when we talked to you way back when, 6 months ago, I think you were around 100 things in your store at any one time.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
And now you're hovering, around 500.
Yep, that's right. As of last night, we were at 495, but then some guy came in and bought like 10 trucker hats all at once.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was like a $200 sale.
Oh my God.
That's great.
That's my dream.
Yeah, it was. I mean, every time I put up one of those trucker hats, I'm like, is someone going to buy this?
And they do.
Yes, they do.
That's so... And you can get those for almost nothing very often, so that's great.
Yeah, 25 cents or 10 cents, yeah.
We thought the way we'd structure this podcast is we would now walk through every part of its process, and you could kind of update us what you used to do and what you do now. And this is, I think, would be most helpful for the new people hearing this, because you're kind of the epitome of like a seller who's kind of on the other side now to being an experienced eBay seller.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
So let's talk about first buying inventory. What is that like for you guys now?
Right now, it's a little slow, actually. We live up in the northern Midwest, so we're in like prime winter time. So there's a few auctions here and there I've been going to. I find those for me in this area, for some reason, they're really time consuming for not a whole lot of inventory.
Yeah.
And, with my busy family life, I kind of don't have that much time to go. So mostly right now we've just been doing a lot of thrift store shopping, but it's not like really intense building of inventory right now. We're kind of just trying to maintain the 500 or so items. So if I can find enough stuff at the thrift stores to kind of replace what I sell that week.
Right. So then you guys don't have a dreaded pile of death where it's a big pile of over inventory?
No, I wish we did. Wow. I think it's maybe because we kind of got started later in the summer. So garage sale season was already, I guess, half done. And the first few months of the store, we were just trying to figure everything out. We weren't buying a ton of stuff. We were just kind of trying to figure it all out. So I think we were a little slow getting the inventory pile up. I'm really looking forward to the garage sale season this year so I can have that dreaded pile.
Got it. So then I guess your new strategy will be to really overbuy, almost buy everything possible.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of things have changed with my buying structure. It was originally I'd go to a garage sale or a thrift store and I would look up every single item I saw that I thought maybe possibly would be, and it took forever. But now that we've sold almost 200 things, where I kind of have a better idea of like what sells and what kind of stuff is going to sell, even without looking it up. I'll still look up stuff if I'm really unsure, but I've got a better eye for it. So that part has changed quite a bit, where I can just quickly go through a sale, or like I was explaining this to my wife. It's like I walk into a store or a sale and like everything's in black and white.
Yep.
And it's like Predator, like the awesome items just like glow red. And
I love that.
I just go straight for them and I'm out of there in like 15 minutes,
Now, I think we're kind of like internet best friends because we have the same style of tastes in our eBay stores. We both tend to kind of get the quirky, kind of vintage, older items that a lot of people might pass over. Have you expanded that vision, or is that what you're focusing on still?
Yeah, I mean, it's still in that basic realm. I've been, dabbling into areas I wouldn't have thought I would, such as like Afghans, and I just can't believe what people will pay for like used blankets.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of a crazy thing. But no, I mean, anything that seems sort of vintagey or retro or antique-y that's cool and that I can somehow describe.
Right.
Yep. Cool. So let's go to the next step, would be a listing. I think from what you did say a while ago, you were doing a lot of a listing while you were watching films. Are you still doing most of the listing that way?
Yep. I'm still doing all the listing pretty much for the store. My wife knows how to do all the areas of the business, but I'm a lot faster at it, and she's kind of taking the helm of watching the child like 99% of the time.
Huge job, yeah.
It is really a huge job. So basically she'll kind of maintain the house and take care of the kid, and I'll go into the basement and I'll photograph maybe 20, 30 items, throw a movie on in the background so I don't feel so lonely down there.
Yep.
Then I'll come upstairs and pretty much the same thing, just plop down on the couch and throw on a marathon of something and just have it on in the background and just list for like hours and hours and hours.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, it's gotten to the point now where it's not so much, like there's not really a whole lot to learn about the listing process. It's just hammering it out.
It's all it is. It's just kind of getting into a meditative state, where you're just doing it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys do this. Like, I don't really use templates necessarily, but I do pretty much have my method where I open up 3 tabs. I've got my new listing, I've got one of my previous listings, and then I've got like a search, an eBay search, and then I just copy my old listing and replace the text with like the new stuff. I don't know if you guys do that, but it's really just a quick copy and paste job for the most part, changing out a few words.
Well, you can also sell similar. So if you're on a trucker hat and you're like, okay, I'm just going to sell another trucker hat. If you're signed into eBay, up top it'll say sell similar. So that's what I do with a lot of items. So I'll just say sell similar and go in and change the title and change the photos and make sure any measurements or colors are different. So you don't even need that third tab, really.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. I did, this is kind of touching back on inventory, but I have been trying to sell more clothes and stuff like that lately, and I'm finding we were getting a few returns. I mean, that's kind of jumping ahead into a different question, but when it comes to listing these items, taking measurements of things like women's clothes, like I was asked the bust and the waist and these questions, and the hip size for like a long, like 80s, like stretchy turtleneck sweater, and I'm just like, I don't even.
Are there hips on that?
I mean, it was all like kind of straight down one side and kind of stretchy, so I just kind of like really threw out a guess on it. But I don't know how to really measure stuff like that yet. So
it's tough. I mean, it's clothes and shoes, and I mean, they're good as sellers and they're easy to find, but you got to be real careful about making sure it's measure everything and show every single flaw, because people will complain if they get something they didn't expect.
Mm-hmm. And I've kind of been having like these dream buyers coming in that are asking like, could you please, tell me the specific measurements from shoulder to shoulder and from top of neck to bottom of back, and just like really specific questions. And I'm like, yes, I can actually tell you that.
Right. Yeah, that helps.
The next step would be storing the inventory. I mean, so by now, you guys are maintaining 500 items, which is a lot of stuff. So is that all in the basement? Is that the eBay place?
Yeah, the basement is our eBay store area. It's basically like a spare bedroom in the basement that has like a closet and stacks of just random shelves I picked up at garage sales and stuff.
Yep.
And that room is packed pretty full. I broke my first item a couple of months ago where it was just like fell over and shattered, and I was like, uh-oh. This is getting out of control in here. Yeah. We're planning on doing some spring cleaning once spring hits, and doing some organization with the basement and getting rid of some stuff and just kind of rethinking our layout to allow more room, because we are going to try to grow significantly past 500 if we can, starting this summer especially. So
is it a basement that can be expanded, like is it only on one half of it, or can you go the other side?
It's just there's basically two small rooms that are like really small bedroom sizes, and then there's kind of like a living room area in between. I think that it'll expand out into that living room area, and it'll just be like shelves all around the room, except for the little area where I take photos.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if your wife has a family member who's a handy person, or maybe you're a handy person, but it's always helped to actually build really strong shelves, because that's one thing that we were doing wrong in the beginning, is that we would just buy cheap plastic shelves or cheap shelving, and we had one huge shelf fall down and break a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
So building, just going to Home Depot or Lowe's and just buying, a bunch of plywood and 2x4s, it doesn't cost that much. And if you can find a handy person, you can build very strong shelving,
I myself am not very handy, but I know a few people.
Yeah.
But it would also be nice to have just kind of like a consistent set of shelves kind of all throughout the basement, instead of this one's plastic and has 2 shelves, and this one's got 8 shelves and it's wobbly. And
Because I think that's when we started to get over 500, is that we needed to really start thinking about our storage, and that's why we now everything in plastic bins, and they're pretty heavy, and every bin is marked. I'm sure that makes sense to start organizing things by kind,
Yeah, we haven't started doing that yet. I think that would be a very good step for us to take, is trying to put like items together. I mean, other than what's hanging in the closet, everything's really just kind of on shelves wherever there's an open spot.
So has it ever happened where someone's bought an item and you guys can't find it?
No, not yet, actually. We've been lucky that way.
So the next part of the process would be then a shipping. On the blog, you seem to always really have good answers to questions people have. It seems like you kind of become a shipping expert.
I don't know about that. I've gotten better, though, than when I started.
So did you print all the labels from home, and you pack everything in the morning, or how's that work?
Well, last time we talked, I didn't have a printer yet, and I was hand labeling packages.
Oh my God.
And that was really just a complete nightmare. So I made a few costly mistakes, and we just, hunkered down. We bought a Brother printer, which you can find a link to on the eBay Scavengers blog. But we did get a printer, and we started using eBay shipping labels, and that just changes everything. It just makes it so much easier. So basically, I guess the process we use is, I usually try to do all my packing at the end of the night.
Yep.
Just to try to get everything ready for the next day, because we always try to do next day shipping. And, if something sells in the middle of the night, if I happen to have enough time in the morning, I'll quick pack that in the morning too. And then I actually do still, and you guys are going to laugh at me, but I do still bring my packages to the post office.
How come?
I literally don't know why. I've gone to the postal site. I've walked through how you tell them to come pick up your packages, and it seems easy as hell. And I still just am like, I'll just bring them. It's right by my work. I'll just drop them off.
Huh.
Yeah, whatever works.
So, but I guess maybe you don't sell enough quite yet to make that where it's been a problem where, you have like 20 packages where it's a real pain.
Yeah. I think the most I've ever brought at once is maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think we're going to have to definitely get on board with that and stop. It's kind of like the shipping label thing. Like, I was like, I don't really know if we need to do that. It's like, no, we do. We do need to do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think when it gets painful enough, then it will prompt you to make that change.
No, those are some of the main things. We also were using a bathroom scale to weigh our items back in the day. Now we've upgraded and have just like a cheap digital food scale, and that works for like 90% of the stuff we sell. For the bigger items we sell, you're definitely still looking at that bathroom scale.
Yeah.
So it's still an estimate, but we've gotten a lot more accurate with our pricing, and I've gotten a lot more confident building boxes. Yep. And so it's not just like I'm trying to throw small items in large flat rate boxes that don't make sense. And I've been trying to go through all of my listings too, and just trying to figure out like what's going on with the shipping. If I listed that item 6 months, I have a really stupid price for shipping, and something's not right. So I spend a lot of time too in adjusting stuff like that. But that's kind of the main stuff with shipping.
Now, since you sell a lot of odd size items, kind of it's like us, what percentage of those items have to be, put in boxes that are handmade?
I'd probably say like 75%.
Wow,
that's high.
Most of the items and the other thing is that I haven't started using those big poly mailers. I think I asked you guys about those on the show a couple weeks ago. Yeah. But so basically I just have tons and tons and tons of just miscellaneous boxes that I'm always just chopping up and shipping stuff in. But I think I'm going to try to order a big order of poly mailers and try to get on board with that whole thing. That'll help me not have to make so many boxes. Right. But the boxes are free.
Yep.
Yeah, that helps. But they do way more.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's my theory.
But especially if you're selling like blankets and things like that.
Poly mailers.
Yeah, throw them in there. Trucker hats, that kind of thing.
All that stuff.
Cool. So the next part of the process we'd like to catch up on is like dealing with customers. So since it's you work, just to be clear, if you talk about all this, you have a full-time job on top of all this stuff. So do you have the eBay app and people are asking questions all day and you're like answering from work?
Yeah, pretty much. I've got an iPhone and the eBay app, so I can kind of stay on top of what's going on all day. It's it's not too bad. I have started to like get less excited when I get a message notification. Like it used to be like, oh, someone wants to know something. Now it's just kind of like, oh, someone wants to know something.
But why is that? Because that means you're like, oh, I gotta pull the thing out and see if I can answer a question.
Well. Yep, it's that, and it's like I'm at work normally, and I'm like, okay, I got to remember to when I get home, I got to find this item, and then look up this guy's question, and then I usually respond right away. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll totally look that up for you as soon as I get home from my day job. Yeah, but that's how I keep up with things for the most part is the smartphone. I don't know if I would be able to do it without that. It'd be kind of tough.
So do you put a lot of it's make offer on items?
Yep, we started doing make an offer on any items, I guess, over like $35.
Yep.
Yeah.
Smart. The lowest that I'll sell something for pretty much is $14.99, and that's if it's like just something that I've had forever, or if it's something I got for free and I just trying to just pass it on.
Yep.
But $14.99, $29.99, $34.99.
Yep.
Those are all buy it nows.
Yep.
I stopped doing the best offer because it's like you guys have said before. It's just like you're fighting over like $2.
Yeah.
And you don't care, and they care a lot. And you just want to move on with your day.
Yeah. So are you handling those at work as well?
Yep. As soon as I get a notification, I'll just kind of take a look at the item and try to remember what I paid for it and what I really care about getting out of it, which is, if I can get $20-$30 per item profit, I'm happy,
Oh yeah.
That's great.
on like $1 item and you make $20-$30. Like that's ridiculous, you know?
Or like a box of free hats that you make $200 on.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what we love.
Yeah.
It's just so insane. You're like, what? How did I do that?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason our store is in such a disarray right now is a few years ago, one of my grandparents passed away, and my dad started bringing me stuff. So I'm starting to acquire these boxes and boxes and stuff from the farm, which is awesome, you know. But it's kind of like, okay, what's family heirloom? What should I get rid of? What should I throw away? What should I sell? But there's like just all these tons of farmer hats, and I was just like, all right, let's get these up.
Yeah.
Just real quick, when you're at work, does anyone at work know that you're an eBay seller?
A couple of my coworkers know. I just kind of, will casually be like, hey, you want to hear what I sold today? Just because people just, they don't it's a whole different culture and a whole different, like, they don't understand that that's a thing. Like, so now, like, there's a few of my coworkers who will walk up to my desk and just be like, so, what'd you ship out today? Just because they're out, just totally curious. Because it's always completely random stuff,
That's great. I love that.
So then the next part of it would be, and about 20% of the questions we get through the blog are about how to handle people that want to send items back. So are you having problems with that, or how do you handle that now?
I don't think we've had any major problems. We've had, a decent amount of returns, same as everybody else, where it's just like, we'll take anything back. We don't care. I mean, if somebody's not happy or if it doesn't fit or if we screwed something up in the listing, send it back. And currently we don't pay any shipping unless it's our fault.
Right.
And if it's like a really cheap item and, I don't really want to deal with getting it back and, I'll just say forget it. And,
right.
Yeah.
That's only happened a couple times, but it's just like one guy got a coat. It was missing a button and I guess it smelled a little bit like smoke. I didn't notice it, but he said he's got really sensitive allergies and it would have been a lot to send back because it was pretty heavy. And I was just like, just give it away to the thrift store there and let it repopulate eBay from somebody else.
Right, exactly.
That's great. Yeah, because it's strange. We get a lot of new people that seem they just want to go to a war. It's with its buyers, so it's good to hear that you just kind of like let it slide off. It's just part of doing business, If
you let it like bother you, you'll just ruin yourself. It's like, oh, I can't believe they wanted to send that back. It was such a good sale. Oh well. Somebody else will buy it.
Exactly. That's what we always say.
You already made the listing. I mean, just get it back and click the relist button. It's not a huge deal.
Right.
Exactly. That's a good attitude.
That's good. Yeah. It's all about having fun at some level. Okay, so if you don't mind me asking, I guess it's first off, have you gotten any bad feedback at all in the past 6 months? Or neutral feedback?
No, not yet.
You lucky.
That's amazing.
Lucky
man. You're doing great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got 88 positive feedbacks. So we've got that big fat blue star.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Which means nothing.
I think we have the power seller status too. I don't really know. I don't know what that means, but it looks cool.
Yep. Are you top rated a seller status?
No, not that. And I think, I'm not sure what the reason was. I looked into it, and it's like something to do with maybe our handling. Like, even though we do next day shipping, we don't usually guarantee it, or I don't know if that's part of it.
Yeah, I think the top rated seller, you have to guarantee you're going to ship it the next day.
Business day.
Yeah, in one business day. And then you have to keep a 90% of doing that. So it's not easy.
Okay.
It's not easy. Let's just say.
No, I mean, we really do next day shipping unless, like, for some reason our entire household is like deathly ill or some freak thing happens, but I guess I haven't cared enough to try to get into that realm, but it sounds like it would probably be a pretty good deal if you could maintain it.
Yeah, and I don't know how, because we go in and out of top rated seller status depending on how much we're out of town and can ship on time, and I don't know if I really see that much of a difference whether we sell a lot or not. So, but supposedly it's supposed to help you in your search standings, but can't hurt any. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks, and you can be as open about this as you feel like. Let's talk about money and numbers. I mean, how much are you guys averaging a month now after 6 months?
I'd say the amount of items we're selling probably ranges from like 30 to 40 items a month.
Right.
And usually it's for somewhere between 1,000 and 1,800. That's
amazing.
But when it gets down to it, the profit after that per month is probably only maybe $600 to $1,000 a month. Once you pay your eBay and PayPal fees and your shipping supplies, and it's a huge improvement. We started off, and the first 3 months that we had the store, I'd say we were not even really breaking even. We were buying stuff and making mistakes, but then once we got kind of into our 6th, 7th month here, we're pretty consistently making a profit of a minimum of $500 a month, but usually it's more like $700 to $1,000.
That's great.
Now, because I always tell people it's really about, you make about maybe 75% is profit on the actual amount that eBay it gives you, and it might be more like 60% after all the fees and all your costs. But that's still, so how is having an extra $500 to $1,000 a month helping you?
It's awesome. Just, right now we're not really putting it towards anything, but we're not just like blowing it either.
Right.
When you put in this amount of effort to make that extra money, it's like sacred to you.
Yeah.
So right now we're just kind of trying to build up our savings a little bit so that we will have a bit more cushion when Emma does decide to leave her job, just in case those first few months are a little rocky. But just seeing our account, with 2 full-time jobs and the store bringing in that extra money, it's just kind of like crazy. Like, we're not just like breaking even every month now. Right. It's actually starting to kind of like build up a little bit. And
you can kind of breathe a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice having that extra income all of a sudden.
So remind me, what's the number of net profit that you want to make every month before your wife can actually quit a job?
We'd like to make profit of probably around $1,400 a month.
Got it. Okay. So basically double what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we could do that pretty consistently, we wouldn't have to make that to survive, but that would kind of keep us at a nice, comfortable level.
It's good to be smart. So basically, you just need to double your inventory. So from 500 things and get 1,000 things going. Yeah,
that's kind of where we're hoping to head this summer. Wow. Is just awesome. Really put it. The last few months, honestly, we've been kind of slacking a little bit. Just lots of sickness. The holidays, and it's freezing cold up here. So it's like you want to go shopping even less than normal. But it's been a really good last few months. October and November were really big months for us, and December was a little lower for some odd reason. But then January is looking to be a really good month for us too. So
is there a number that you guys would make in your eBay store where both of you would quit at your jobs, or are you wedded to having a job that's not just eBay?
That's a good question. It never was really in the cards for me to quit my job as well. Gotcha. At least the plans. That doesn't mean I wouldn't be open to it. Yep. That'd be awesome.
Yep.
I think it's something that we would definitely consider doing once Emma quits her job and we try that out for a while. See how it goes, see how we feel about it. A lot of people that I talk to about doing that are just like, aren't you just like scared? And like there's no job security. And I'm just like, there's more job security in having an eBay store than working for anybody.
Yep,
right now.
It's true.
It's true. I'm at a point where I don't mind my job, and her job is a complete nightmare. So if we can get her out of there, and then we can just, after that, we'll see what happens. But I would definitely be open to doing that if we could.
Yeah, so. I think a lot of people fall into eBay because they've lost their job. So, there's no other option, because it is kind of a scary thing to think of. You're going to quit a full-time steady job with benefits, I assume. It's that would be a big jump. It's good having options.
That happened to me, just a few years ago during the big economic crisis.
Right.
I lost my job and I was like, I took this just awful job. I was working tech support for McDonald's, like on the phone. And
That's great.
my shift was at like 4 a.m.
They're like, how do I eat this hamburger?
Oh man, it was just so I understand. Like if someone loses their job, I mean, I wish I would have knew more about eBay back then. I would have definitely done that instead.
Yeah.
But I can see why people jump into it when that happens. But it's kind of like when you want a different job. If you have a full-time job already and it's like you're not in the threat of being fired or let the company closing, you can kind of browse if you want to get another job or not.
Yep.
That's kind of how I feel about if I want to migrate to eBay full-time or not.
Right.
Even though I feel like I am doing eBay full-time pretty much in my spare time.
Sounds like it.
It is.
Yeah, totally. I don't know, do you mind answering questions in the blog that people may have when they write in?
Oh, no, I'd be happy to.
Okay. And do you have, since you were almost brand new 6 to 8 months ago, do you have any, I don't know, words of wisdom for people just starting out?
It's one of those things where a lot of this stuff is just kind of trial by fire. It seems when you first start your eBay store, it's like kind of overwhelming because you're trying to figure out shipping and the listing tools and do I have a store subscription? Do I not have a store subscription? What kind of stuff should I list? Like there's a million trillion questions.
Yep.
And I mean, really, you just start. Just start doing it and just hammer through those first few months of listing, and you'll get some accidents will probably happen, but like it won't matter in the long run. Like just keep going. Like if you can get through those first few months and just like start to see a little bit of that profit coming in, it'll just like totally change the game for you and you'll like never want to stop. You just can't believe like you're making money doing this like the way you are. It's just a really good source of either extra income or full-time income if you can really commit to it and do something like you guys are doing. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
I couldn't have said it better. It's myself. I mean, we got an email just today from a listener who said, I guess he had an eBay store way back when eBay was first starting, and now he's getting back into it, and he can't believe how many more levels there are to figure out. And he was just saying back in the old days that they would have a counter at the top of the eBay site that showed you how many items were in all of eBay. And he said he remember when it was like 40,000 items in the whole site, and he just couldn't believe that, and now it's just I think that might be why you hear a lot of the anger in the eBay boards, because it's just like people that started in the old days. It is more complicated. It's a little more work. There's a lot more competition now, and maybe back then everyone knew each other. It was more like a family, and now there's millions of people who are selling, so it's different.
Yeah, it's different, but with all the new challenges and like the competition and whatever, I mean, there's so many more tools available.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just having something like the Scavenger blog that you guys run is just like, people did not have that, whenever eBay was first around. So if you're a new seller, I mean, just listen to podcasts and like watch YouTube videos. And, like you can learn so much so fast. It's just like it's scary at first, but you're definitely not alone. And like there's a lot of people out there that are doing this that can be helpful and good resources, I think.
Well, Adam, thanks so much for talking to us. You're our favorite internet friend, and we really appreciate it.
That's awesome.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.